The famous ship chief Qin Tao returned to the Mingzhou Shipyard he had abandoned 30 years ago. Everything will start over again. Did the factory director and cashier run away with the money? Qin Tao pulled out a bucket of gold. Is the speed of the speedboat not enough? Then hang on the engine more. Can't the wings of red flag 61 fold? Qin Tao, come and solve it. Dredgers, LNG ships, catamaran missile boats, stealth frigates, Shendun air defense ships. Let's see how Qin Tao gradually builds a great power warship. Keywords of the novel. No pop-ups for major warships. Download the complete TXT collection of major warships, and read the latest chapters of major warships. Chapter 1. The factory director and cashier ran away with a roll of money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The factory director and cashier ran away with a roll of money. Unfortunately, I'm not dead anymore. I'm not, on the contrary. Qin Tao is really a good child, but he doesn't know how to swim, so don't go down to save people. Now it's over, let's get ourselves inside. Nye Shiyu, at a young age, you can tell that she is just like her mother, a fox spirit. Our factory director Song must have been fascinated by fox spirits, otherwise why would he take her mother and run away with money? Amidst the chatter of people, a girl named Nye Shiyu coughed a few times and sat up. She was drenched all over, with her floral dress tightly pressed against her clothes. Although she was only 14 or 15 years old, her figure had already developed into a curvaceous shape. Gauzy face, willow eyebrows, big eyes, and beneath the towering bridge of the nose, there is a delicate cherry mouth. At this moment, Nye Shiyu's eyes had just opened. When he heard the voices of the people around him discussing, he immediately looked at the young man beside him. Brother Tao, Brother Tao. Nye Shiyu shook Qin Tao's body with both hands. My mother ran away, and I can't live alone. I want to jump into the river, so there's no way out. Why do you want to go down and save me? Nye Shiyu started crying, tears streaming down Qin Tao's body. Amidst her tears, Qin Tao slowly opened his eyes. When he saw the delicate and beautiful face with pear blossoms and rain, his mind was a bit confused. As a famous ship designer, Qin Tao has always been busy in the shipyard, especially when the latest aircraft carrier is about to be delivered. He walks the familiar Qin Carav Avenue every day, but on that day, because he was too engrossed in thinking, he accidentally stepped on it and fell off. How did the picture change when it was caught? Why is the crying girl in front of her somewhat familiar? Qin Tao turned his head and looked around. More people appeared in the field of vision. That thick denim outfit. A Zhongshan-style uniform made of labor cloth material, and the wicker-woven safety helmet. At this moment, Nye Shiyu was pleasantly surprised to see Qin Tao open his eyes, and his face immediately lit up with joy. Brother Tao, you woke up, that's really great. If you had saved me and died, I. After speaking, Nye Shiyu's eyes turned red and tears fell down again. Poetry rain. Qin Tao recognized the girl in front of him and realized what had happened. His brain was also in intense pain, and countless memories flooded into Qin Tao's mind. I was reborn and went back more than 30 years ago to the Mingzhou Shipyard in 1989. The Mingzhou Shipyard, founded in 1949, also had a glorious history, undertaking many civil shipbuilding tasks. However, when the country opened its doors, the shipyard began to gradually decline. 5 years ago, the shipyard was placed under the management of Mingzhou City. In order to save this once glorious shipyard, Mingzhou City sent Song Weis, who was in his 30s, as the new factory director, intending to revitalize the factory through sharp reforms. Former factory director Qin Baoshan, also known as Qin Tao's father, was demoted to deputy factory director. In that era when young people were in charge, it was not uncommon for the old factory director to retire early or serve as a deputy, making room for young people. However, after Song Weis came to power, he carried out several years of reform without any results, and instead, the factory owed a lot of debt. This morning, the workers at the shipyard were surprised to find that Song Wei's had run away, and the glamorous cashier Nie Chui, who was in her 30s, had run away. The only working capital of over 200,000 yuan in the factory was also gone. Everyone was furious, and all the anger was vented on Nie Chui's daughter, Nie Shiyu. Growing up in a single-parent family, Nie Shiyu couldn't bear to be humiliated and felt that life was hopeless. So, with a thud, she jumped off the pier. This incident was personally experienced by Qin Tao. Qin Tao grew up under the arrangement of his father since childhood. Every day when he returned from the school for the children of workers, he would do the pile of homework left by his father. Under the influence of this sea of questions tactic, he finally got into the shipbuilding industry school in Huading, several hundred kilometers away. Huading is a big city, and Qin Tao urgently wants to stay in Huading and work at Huading Shipyard. But after graduation, he actually received a registration certificate from Mingzhou Shipyard. Of course, this was arranged by his father, so since returning to the shipyard, Qin Tao has no intention of working and has been arguing with his father every day to leave. When the factory director and cashier ran away with money, there was no hope of staying at the shipyard. Therefore, after another big argument with his father, Qin Tao ran out and found Nie Shiyu jumping into the river, so he followed suit and jumped into the river. After seeing Qin Tao jump down, the boatmen rescued him with all their might. Because Qin Tao's hand tightly grasped Nie Shiyu's hand, they rescued him together with Nie Shiyu. After Qin Tao woke up, his hurried father had another argument with him. Qin Tao went home to pack his bags and left the Mingzhou Shipyard to live the life he wanted. Decades have passed, and Qin Tao has become a renowned shipbuilding engineer in China, responsible for the design and construction of important national warships. However, there is still deep guilt in his heart. The Mingzhou Shipyard collapsed and the shipbuilding equipment was sold. Father Qin Baoshan would sit at his doorstep every day, gazing at the ruins of the shipyard with a blank expression, just like Director Makarov of the Black Sea Shipyard. A few years later, my father passed away due to illness. My mother's situation was not optimistic either. Later, Qin Tao found out that when he left, the Mingzhou clothing factory where my mother was located also encountered a crisis. My mother was busy finding sales channels for the clothing squeezed by the factory, but ended up working hard and falling ill. As for Nie Shiyu, he had to drop out of school at a young age and then fell into bad school in the previous life. Qin Tao took the path he wanted to take. This time, when he was reborn, should he still follow the previous trajectory? Qin Tao's gaze looked around, as he looked at the people one by one, and many memories flashed through his mind. Welder Master Zhao often brings Qin Tao over when picking up children. Master Zhao's son sits on the main beam, while Qin Tao sits at the back. Mr. Liu, the mechanic, saw that he was just studying hard and had no toys, so he made him a beautiful match gun. Aunt Wang, a female worker, often takes out a big white rabbit from her pocket and sneaks it into her own pocket. No, of course not. Since I have been reborn, I must make up for the regrets of my past life. What big city should I go to? If I don't leave, I will take this as the starting point and lead Mingzhou Shipyard to become a well-known first-class shipbuilding enterprise in China and even in the world. The workers in the shipyard don't have to worry about their livelihood after being laid off. Their parents can also enjoy their old age peacefully. Nie Shiyu, a beautiful and well-behaved girl, must continue to complete her studies and become a useful person for the country. As for my own talents, I can also showcase them here. Aunt Wang, excuse me, can I borrow your coat for a while? End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Insufficient Speed and Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Insufficient Speed and Power. Aunt Wang was somewhat surprised, but she still handed Qin Tao the work clothes of the labor cloth she was holding in her hand. It's summer now, and in fact, just wearing a half-sleeve dacron is enough. However, when working in a shipyard, you have to cover yourself tightly. Otherwise, if you walk casually, sparks from welding may fall from your head and burn a hole in the half-sleeve dacron. As for now, we don't have much work to do and are all watching the excitement. Many people have taken off their coats. Qin Tao took over his work clothes and casually draped them over Nie Shiyu's body. Nie Shiyu's clothes are all wet and visible, it's too embarrassing. With this piece of clothing to cover it up, it's much better. Xiao Tao, why are you? Aunt Wang, Shiyu is innocent. The factory director and cashier ran away with money, and everyone was very angry. However, when you think about it, Shiyu is only one person left. Isn't it even more lonely? Just now, the big guy cursed harshly. What kind of fox spirit? It was the anger that should have been sprinkled on Nie Chui's body that was directed towards Nie Shiyu. The big guy's original intention is still kind. At this moment, Qin Tao said this, and Aunt Wang's face also showed a hint of shame. Yes, this is also a child who has suffered a lot. Humph, something unremarkable, wanting to threaten me by jumping into the river, crying, making trouble, and hanging myself. Now that the factory is like this, are you still willing to leave? At this moment, Qin Baoshan had already run over panting. Old man, I'm not leaving, Qin Tao said. In the future, you can rest assured to hand over the burden on your shoulders to me. I will lead the factory out of the predicament. Have you changed your gender? Qin Baoshan was a bit surprised. When his son fell into the water and came up again, he suddenly changed. Not only has the attitude changed, but even the overall temperament of the person has changed. Qin Baoshan was so surprised that he didn't mind Qin Tao's very impolite way of calling him the old man. Do you want to stay? Yeah, Qin Tao said, this is my route. How can I leave at this time? However, I need to send Shiyu back first. Old man, Shiyu is so pitiful. I want her to live in our house in the future. Do you have any objections? Yeah, cashier Nya has run away. Shiyu is an underage girl. Let's live in our house. Your mother and I don't have any daughters either, so we can just be multiple daughters. Nya Shiyu's tears fell down again, and as she bent her knees, she was about to kneel down. Qin Tao quickly grabbed Nya Shiyu and said, from now on, I will be your brother. If someone bullies you, come find me. Let's go, I'll take you home first. When you go back, change your clothes first. These wet clothes are easy to get sick. Brother, you don't need to send it. I'll leave alone. When I change clothes, I'll bring this coat to Aunt Wang. You can keep busy with the factory. I'll send Shiyu back. Aunt Wang also volunteered. Watching Nya Shiyu leave, Qin Tao let out a long breath and then turned his head to look at the shipyard. Since we have decided to stay, let's help Dad solve the difficult problem. However, first of all, we need to know what's going on. Old man, we are college students. What's going on with this product that failed the reform by Director Song? Maybe I can help solve it. Qin Tao looked at his father. At this moment, Qin Baoshan withdrew his gaze from the failed product and looked at his own son. Huading Shipbuilding Industry School is the highest institution for shipbuilding craftsmen, and my son has been studying there for 4 years, which should be considered a true skill. Moreover, the situation at the shipyard is not optimistic now. Since my son has intentions, why not let him try? What if he really solves the problem? Let the dead horse be the living horse, doctor. Lao Zhao, you're the most familiar with it, let's talk about it. Qin Baoshan said, I just took over. In the past, old Song kept everything from me, and I couldn't ask around. Zhao Chang spoke with a swollen voice, it's just a layman's act. Even if we continue to build our old fishing boats, we won't end up at this level. In recent years, the situation of maritime smuggling has become increasingly severe, so at that time, the factory director. The fraudster Song took this opportunity and decided to switch to manufacturing anti-smuggling speedboats. Our factory used to build fishing boats and didn't have blueprints for speedboats. We originally planned to obtain them from our sister units, but Director Song said we need to aim at the world's advanced level and have a speed of over 50 knots. We don't have blueprints domestically, so we need to purchase them from abroad. We spent several 100,000 yuan to purchase advanced production drawings from the island country. Now, it seems that the scammer Song is clearly trying to take the opportunity to travel abroad. He went with the Fox Spirit at that time, and the two of them must have been together long ago. Uncle Zhao, let's continue. What's the problem with this ship? Is there a problem with the drawings of the islanders? Qin Tao looked at the 5 speedboats on the slipway, pondering the tricks behind them. Could it be that the islanders were playing tricks? There must be an issue with the drawings. The required steel plate thickness far exceeds the requirements of the speedboat. However, we have no culture, so we can only say it is not suitable based on our feelings. The scammer Song insisted that there was no problem and built it according to the drawings. As a result, the speedboat was overweight 3 times after being manufactured. Not to mention 50 knots, we couldn't even reach 30 knots. The customs are still in a hurry to get it. They heard that we have built a ship here, and they immediately sent someone to receive it. After arriving, the swindler Song treated the guests to a meal, but did not allow them to come into contact with the fast boat. They were not fools and demanded to board the boat. However, after testing it, the customs personnel turned around and left. The remaining 4 ships under construction were useless and hung on the shipyard to bask in the sun. Our shipyard several million were thrown into the water. Qin Tao furrowed his brow, pondered for a moment, and suddenly thought of something. Did we use the wrong material? The speedboat, you still require such a thick material, should it be aluminum alloy? What? Aluminum alloy. Can that thing still be used for shipbuilding? It's scary to have no culture. The small and medium-sized shipyards like Mingzhou Shipyard are more similar to those passed down from generation to generation by craftsmen in ancient times. If they have built it themselves, they are confident in producing it. As for what they don't have. In previous times, workers across the country were one family, and if they needed anything, their brother shipyards would come over to help, personally imparting skills without reservation. Now, times have changed. Mingzhou Shipyard suffered such a loss, without its own technical strength, and when it lost its reliance, walking became extremely difficult. They spent a huge amount of money to purchase foreign drawings, but they didn't even know the materials for shipbuilding. Based on their past experience in building fishing boats, they replaced aluminum alloy with iron. Of course, this speedboat would be overweight. Thinking of this, Qin Tao can better understand Qin Baoshan's good intentions. Every year, graduates from the School of Shipbuilding Industry flock to the large shipyard and the small Mingzhou Shipyard, and there is no need for such technical talents. Therefore, Qin Baoshan can only rely on his son. We have never built aluminum alloy ships in our factory, and the welding of that thing requires special equipment, Zhao Changshui continued. Yeah, even if we do, we don't have the funds to purchase raw materials. These ships can't just be scrapped like this, said Lu Fugui. If only these ships could be pounded up. You, a talented student, have come up with some tricks. Is there a solution? Qin Baoshan looked at his son, full of anticipation. Well, there's also a way. Qin Tao spoke up, if you can't reach the speed, then come and gather the power. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. 2 External Engines. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 4. Hidden Merit and Fame. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. Crisis of Mingzhou Clothing Factory. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 6. White Wolf with Empty Hands. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 7. Forcing up Liangshan. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. Heading north along the way. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 9. Wang Jianguo is very anxious. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Wang Erzhu scared me out. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors.